A hush falls over the desert. The wind carries only whispers, a low hum that drifts across an ocean of sand, each grain glinting in the fading amber glow. The horizon feels infinite, stretching so far it nearly dissolves into the sky itself. For a moment, there is nothing but the slow rhythm of nature, pulsing like a heartbeat beneath the stillness. And then, something shifts. Through the heat haze it appears. Not a mirage, not a trick of the eye, but a silhouette, subtle, deliberate, almost as if the earth itself exhaled and shaped it. A home, a sanctuary, a shape that's both familiar and otherworldly, part barn with its grounded, simple stance, part Scandinavian retreat with its quiet poise. It stands not to conquer the desert, but to belong to it, to listen, to breathe with it. Its walls seem to hold the color of the landscape itself, pale, sun-warmed woods and muted stone, softened into harmony by time and light. No bold clashes, no frantic angles, just stillness, layered with purpose. It is a home that doesn't need to shout to be seen. It invites you, gently, as though the desert itself has pulled back a curtain and whispered, "Look closer." Did you know that 70% of homeowners feel their space doesn't reflect their style? Don't be part of that statistic. Subscribe and start designing a home that truly feels yours. In this moment, the world feels slower. The heat fades into a kind of calm, the air heavy with possibility rather than weight. The structure is alive somehow, its lines effortless, its presence both fragile and strong. You can almost feel it breathing as though the wind moves through its bones, weaving in and out of its open spaces, cooling the timber, polishing the glass. And then a voice, low and quiet, brushing the edges of thought. What if the desert could cradle you, the way a Scandinavian forest does? The words hang in the stillness like a secret you're not sure you were meant to hear. Could the desert, a place often seen as harsh and unyielding, hold the same comfort as the mossy silence of a Nordic woodland? Could this home be proof that serenity doesn't depend on where you are, but how deeply a space is willing to connect with its surroundings? A beautiful home is not a dream. It's an art, and you're the artist. Subscribe and start creating spaces that speak to the soul. The dunes settle again, the light softens to a deep golden glow, and the question lingers, unanswered, inviting you to step closer, to wonder what waits inside this quiet shape in the sand. The desert wind hums low, its song curling gently around the edges of pale wooden beams and walls washed in earth's own tones. Each breeze feels like it's tracing the home's lines, almost as if the air itself knows the architecture was made to belong here. There's no hard clash, no sharp edge breaking the horizon, just forms and textures that echo the land. This barndominium doesn't demand your gaze. It doesn't rise with arrogance or gleam with steel and glass to shout its existence. It whispers. It leans into subtlety. The wood carries the softness of pale birch, touched by sun and time until it glows with a muted natural patina. The floors, the frames, the rafters, all hold the warmth of sun-bleached oak, their grain catching the light like memories of distant forests, softened by the desert's endless sky. Stone anchors the structure, not as cold weight but as a grounding presence, each slab worn and organic like it's always been part of this land. Transform your home. Transform your life. Subscribe now and let's create spaces you'll love forever. Inside and out, minimalism breathes, but never feels stark. It isn't emptiness. It's intention. Every surface feels alive with texture. Every corner feels purposeful. There are no unnecessary flourishes, no clutter vying for your senses. Instead, there's space. Space for the mind to wander, space for the eye to rest. As the day shifts, the home transforms. Light spills through wide openings and dances along the walls, turning each hour into its own story. Shadows stretch and fold, moving across floors and beams like living artwork, reshaping the space in ways no hand could replicate. Here, the sun isn't just a source of warmth, it's a silent collaborator painting the rooms anew with every passing moment. And then, there is the silence. Not the heavy, empty kind that feels hollow, but the rare, indulgent kind that feels full. Full of the faint hum of wind, the distant rustle of sand, the subtle creak of wood settling into its place. It's a silence that holds you, lets you hear your own breath, and makes the simple act of existing feel profound. In this space, luxury isn't in gold or excess, it's in stillness. It's in the way the design lets the desert and the Scandinavian soul meet, quietly, without friction, a place not just to live, but to exhale. Step inside, and the air changes. The openness greets you first, ceilings soaring high above, their beams stretching like quiet exclamations of space. The vastness feels freeing, but never cold. Because tucked within that openness are corners of intimacy, quiet nooks draped in wool throws, their texture soft and grounding, linen curtains catching the breeze like sails, and shelves lined with handmade ceramics that seem to hum with the imperfections of human touch. These spaces balance the scale, wrapping the immensity in warmth. Here, the essence of Scandinavian living reveals itself. The clean, deliberate lines guide your eyes without effort, drawing attention to what matters and letting everything else fall away. Natural light becomes the heartbeat of every room, flooding in from every angle, erasing harshness, and giving the walls and floors a living, breathing quality. There's no clutter to pull you from the moment, no excess to crowd your thoughts, just a stillness that feels intentional, as if the house itself is teaching you to slow down. But the desert does not wait politely beyond the walls. It enters, gently, insistently, shaping the space as much as the Scandinavian design principles do. Glass walls do more than open the home to the outside. They make the line between inside and out dissolve entirely. Each sunrise spills across the floors, washing every surface with soft whites, muted clays, and the faintest touch of pink, as though the day itself is painting the palette anew. By afternoon, warm golds and cooling shadows stretch across the interior, a reminder that the desert doesn't simply sit beyond the windows. It flows into the home, shaping its atmosphere moment by moment. It feels like exhaling, like the body releasing what it didn't know it was holding. And yet there's a question lingering in the air, unspoken but present in every corner, every surface, every subtle shift of light. How does it create this serenity? Is it the careful marriage of two worlds, the structured calm of Scandinavian minimalism and the raw, boundless beauty of the desert? Or is there something deeper, something less visible, in the way this home seems to breathe with its surroundings? The thought lingers like a soft echo, pulling you further in, making you wonder what more lies beyond the stillness. As the day exhales into twilight, the home begins to transform. The walls, once kissed by the desert sun, now hum softly with the glow of hidden light, as if the building itself carries an ember at its core. Warm lanterns flicker to life, their soft glow trembling like fireflies caught in a slow, graceful dance. The desert air cools, and with it the silence deepens. Not an emptiness, but a fullness, as though the land is holding its breath for nightfall. The home feels alive in this moment, not just as a structure but as something more. A quiet pulse, a refuge. The wood, the stone, the glass, all seem to hum in unison, settling into the rhythm of the evening. And as that rhythm takes hold, a softer voice stirs, almost as though it comes from the wind itself. It isn't just design, it's a decision. To live slower, to let nature guide the architecture instead of fighting it,